Britney Spears' Serkis. McLovin, my producer, thought that would be a funny intro into our interview with Andy Serkis this morning. Andy, good morning, sir. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm great. It feels weird to call you Andy. For some reason, like, Andy is a very friendly name, and it makes me feel like I'm disrespecting you because I'm not your friend, but I feel like your friend calling you Andy.
I like it when you call me Andy.
Okay. Well, you have a very friendly name, Andy. I like it. Well, tell us a little bit about, before we start talking about everything that's going on, I want to know how, you have one of the most unique careers in Hollywood. I mean, a lot of people are actors and they're successful, and it's like, oh, cool, you've done, different genres of films. You do a very specific thing a lot of times, which is playing these CGI-type characters. Tell us kind of how you got into that. I mean, how'd the whole career start, and how'd you become that guy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to ask myself that question sometimes. I mean, I started off as a regular actor in theatre for many years, and then, went through film and television in the UK, British independent films and so on, TV programs. And then the phone call came one day to get involved with Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, and I went down to play Gollum, and suddenly this whole new world opened up to me, which was this world of performance capture, which was like, a real epiphany for me. It was suddenly the ability to play something that was totally other and different and physically unlike me, and that could never be achieved in any other way. And then following on from that, immediately, just when I thought I was going to go back into a normal acting career, Pete asked me to play King Kong. So going from this small 3.5-foot ex-Hobbit to a 25-foot gorilla, I suddenly realized, wow, here's a technology which allows you to play anything. And so it just sort of grew and changed, and the technology moved on and developed, and then more films were using that particular way of working, and the scripts kept coming through with great characters. So that's how it evolved, and finally I find myself making Rise of the Planet of the Apes with Rupert Wyatt 3 years ago. It was a great script, and now with Matt Reeves making Dawn. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I got here.
Yeah, so, I mean, amazing. What an amazing, and cool, too, to be able to tell your range. A lot of actors, they talk about range, and it's like, oh, well, I can play, all the way from Shakespearean to, a lovable guy in a comedy. You can play range from, like you said, a 3-foot-tall little monster guy all the way up to King Kong. That's the biggest range. That's the biggest range of any actor.
What I truly love about this technology is that it is very liberating, and it just enables you. It doesn't matter what you look like as an actor, what size or shape or color or sex you are. You can just inhabit these roles, which are vastly different from you.
It's so amazing too. Yes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It releases tomorrow at 10 p.m. here in Billings, and growing nation of genetically evolved apes led by Caesar, who is you. You play Caesar. You're threatened by these human survivors. And tell us a little bit more about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Well, Dawn picks up 10 years after Rise of the Planet of the Apes, for those who saw it, where Caesar, this young infant chimpanzee, is grown up with human beings and then is rejected from them and gets put into an ape sanctuary, and then he leads those apes to freedom. This is 10 years later on now, and Caesar is this kind of an older, sort of statesman-like character who has created this evolved ape society, and he has a family, he has a teenage son, and he has a council, and then he is responsible for nearly 2,000 apes now. So, and into this mix comes the surviving humans. There's been a huge pandemic that has wiped out most of humanity, as you mentioned, and the human survivors come along, and there's now a situation where it could escalate into a huge conflict. And Caesar, because he's grown up with human beings, has an empathy for the human survivors, and is the one to be able to try and bring about peace between the two species.
Oh, very nice. So did James Franco die then, or is he just gone?
Well, you'll have to see this film.
Oh, I like it. Look at that. There you go. That's a good selling point. Well, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Obviously, a lot of people love the first Planet of the Apes, so I'm sure they'll go check this one out as well. So, cool starting point for the movie from what you said. It sounds amazing. And then you've got all sorts of other stuff coming up as well. First of all, you are in the next Star Wars movie, according to IMDb, but you are the only uncredited character. Can you confirm you're in the movie?
I am absolutely in the movie.
That's
all I can say, and if I say any more, then I have 2 stormtroopers standing behind me, ready to whisk me off to a galaxy far, far away.
I like it. Isn't that kind of cool to be? I mean, do they tell you that right when they give you a role? Like, hey, we've got a role for you, but it's super, like, you can't talk about it. It's going to be a role that we're going to keep secret forever?
It's very secret. I mean, there's a lot of scrutiny on the project, as you can imagine, and we've got to keep some surprises for the fans.
I like it. I think it'd be great if you just came out as Gollum and surprised everybody. Just a combination
I think I might just do that.
of universes. I love it. And then what else you've got? I mean, you've got Avengers, Age of Ultron coming up. You've got a Tintin movie. Tell us kind of about some of the other stuff you're working on.
Well, in actual fact, what I'm working on at the moment is I've moved into directing, and when I worked on The Hobbit with Peter Jackson last time, I reprised the role of Gollum, and he asked me to direct the second unit on The Hobbit. So I spent, the best part of a year down in New Zealand shooting for 200 days on The Hobbit, and that was an amazing experience. But it was very much part of the plan. I've been moving towards directing for some time, so I'm about to embark on a production of Jungle Book, which I'm directing. For Warner Brothers, which is an amazing kind of retelling of Rudyard Kipling's book.
That's awesome.
And so, I'm enjoying that at the moment.
I'm kind of a bigger dude. I'm a little burly. I'm from Montana. I've seen a lot of bears. Like, do you think you might want to cast me as Baloo? I mean...
Well, I think you'd have to come and audition for us. You'd have to come over to the UK, to the Imaginarium, where we have our performance capture studio.
Oh, I'll do it.
I'd like to see your bear walk and talk.
Oh, absolutely. We have a listener who listens every morning from Kingswood, England, Alan, and he's so excited. He said, yes, finally another British accent, but he wants you to pour some cash into his rugby club over in Kingswood, England. But I'll stay with Alan in Kingswood and then shoot over to your studio and audition for you. It'll be great.
Sounds good.
We're going to do it. So are you trying to get completely out of acting and into directing, or do you hopefully in the future kind of want to do a little bit of everything?
Oh, no. I'm not going to stop acting, but at this point in time, it's been building towards this for a few years, where I have a number of projects that I'm developing, but Jungle Book is the first one out of the gate, and it's just such a great script. It's written by Callie Clovis, who's Steve Clovis, who wrote all the Harry Potters, or adapted the Harry Potters, his daughter, and it's a very, very intelligent.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And so, do you have anybody cast for that yet? Is it going to be all motion capture? I mean, can you tell us anything more about it?
We're literally right at the beginning of the process. We're casting as we speak, and I can't really mention anybody yet. But there will be use of performance capture, and it's a combination of that and animation. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Do you know who's huge now? Jennifer Lawrence. You should have her play Mowgli.
Oh, she's amazing. She's one of my favorite actresses, actually.
She'd be a great spin on Mowgli. Just cut her hair really short, let her be Mowgli. I'd love it. Love it. I think it'd be huge. I
agree.
Everybody on the app wants to know if everybody, when they meet you, asks you to say "my precious," if they say that to you, or if you get annoyed by the fact that line is so synonymous with you.
Oh, I don't mind it at all. I mean, I have done a fair amount of people's answer phone messages and so on and so forth. But it's cool. It's quite fun, and people. What I enjoy is hearing other people's impersonations. And they often do them for me, which is even more fun.
It's very nice. Well, my producer's got one. He's going to do one for you right now.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay. Here we go. My precious.
It's so scary.
It was the worst. I'm sorry.
I wish you could have seen his face, Andy. It
looked worse than Gollum.
It was creepier when he did it. Man, I would quit acting if I were you after hearing that. And that was pretty depressing, Andy. But luckily for us, when we need it in a movie, we have you doing it. Any chance of you being Gollum in Hobbit 3, or is Gollum gone as far as you know?
As far as I know, it does not appear in the third movie.
Okay. Peter might just not have called you yet. He might have forgot.
He might have got someone. He might have got your producer to do it.
Yeah, exactly. He might call. Yeah, exactly. McLovin might be doing. Who knows? It's either way. We're gonna watch for Andy Serkis. Of course, we'll check him out as an unknown character in the upcoming Star Wars movie. We'll check out Dawn of the Planet of the Apes this weekend, and we'll look for the new Jungle Book movie and all the other projects that Andy Serkis is working on. So, Andy, it's so great talking to you, man. It's been a pleasure, and best of luck with everything. I love following your career, and I hope it just keeps going further to the top, my man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Have a great morning. What the hell did I just say at the end? I appreciate your career. Like,
no,
you're so successful. I'm glad that you're good at being.
You're alive.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.